Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I wanted to share with you guys another kind of fun technique for paper weaving. I showed you yesterday the traditionally common kind of way of just taking two pieces of paper, connecting at a 90-degree angle and overlapping to create a cool little spring. And today I wanted to show you guys a little different variation on that where you use four pieces of paper. You double things up and you create a neat sort of woven square pattern, and really this benefits a lot from using two colors because you create, you know, that nice kind of comparison of the two different colors as you weave everything together. I'm going to be using this kind of paper tape, and sometimes you can't always find this, I know, but if you want, you can also make your own by cutting out paper and taping it or gluing it together. As I mentioned before, I would recommend using probably glue or using masking tape because that does hold a crease, and you can also add cool, colorful little tabs to your project depending on what kinds of colors of paper you use. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do this though with the colored tape. I went ahead and cut mine into 50 centimeter lengths just to show you guys how things look when we're done. But what we want to do is start off the same way we did with the other piece of project by having two pieces that have a connection at a 90-degree angle. And I want to go ahead and connect them. And as I did yesterday in the other project too, if you prefer to have like one edge look kind of clean with that folded part to it, you can go ahead and fold one side over and turn things over and get this other side folded over too. And then we can connect things there with with glue, excuse me. And you don't really need a lot, you just need a tiny little bit there. So I've got one of these designed here, and then I want to go ahead and do the exact same thing with the other one too. So in this case I've got the yellow on top and the red underneath. So just go ahead and do the same thing. Create a nice little edge here. Fold it over. So I've got both of my pieces there to start. Now I want to make sure that when I look at things here, because I like this top part to look cool so that it, looks nice for when I'm finished. If I lay things over here for a second and I've got the yellows going vertically and the reds going horizontally, if I have them laying on top of each other, the bottom red needs to come up on top, and that'll give me a nice little checkerboard pattern for my piece. Now I want to start by looking at it like this so that I can make sure and double check that everything looks okay, and then we're just going to flip everything over, make it all laid out nice so that we don't need to worry about stuff, and then we can begin weaving everything together. And we've already double checked to make sure that it's going to look nice on the other side, that we're going to get a nice little checkered pattern. So now we can go ahead and continue the process of weaving it together. Right now my yellows are on top, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold over my reds. This technique is a little different, a little more involved than just doing two, because we are going to need to actually do some weaving as we work all this together. So I'm just going to first focus on getting these two pieces snug over to the edge as much as I can and keep things as straight as I can so that I get everything pushed over. And then I want to make sure that I go ahead and bring the yellow over next. So you're going to do two times where you have a solid color. The first time we were just folding things over. The second time I've got all yellow now showing. But this time I want to make sure that I get the one red on top and on bottom. And that will create the weaving that we need to keep everything together and to create a cool little spring too. So right now the reds are on top. So again, I'm going to do a yellow folding down. Now this time I don't need to weave yet because I'm just securing the paper when I do this. This is just folding stuff down to keep it secure. So this is just like we're done with that fold. Then we'll do the sides this time. And I'll fold over here with the red. First get the fold completely over and then go ahead and do the weaving part by taking the yellow and bringing it to the top. And doing the same thing on this side too. And we're just going to keep continuing in the same manner. So again, I'm going to start off by taking the reds. You should always have an edge to fold against. That way you know you're going the right way. So I'll do the reds, and then I'm going to fold the yellows. And then we're just going to do a little bit of weaving to make sure that we don't see all yellow here. So I'm going to make sure that the red is on top and the red is on top here. So you're alternating between folding from the vertical and horizontal folds, and you're alternating between which colors wind up being taken out for the weave too. So if you take a moment and step away from it, if the kids run in and you have to pause, you can always just remind yourself of where you are by looking at what piece of paper is on top here and know that you're going to use the opposite to fold over. So right now I'd be folding over for the yellow, and I'm folding over for this yellow, and then I'm going to fold the red over, and the same thing with this side too. Now I folded the red over, so I need to make sure that my yellow shows. It's the second time I folded over, so on the second fold, make sure that you weave. So just take, it's a very simple weave, it's just one, but you're just taking one layer and bringing it to the top. And I'm just going to keep going through this process of folding over against the edges and creating a simple weave with everything as I go through. And on the second time you fold over, that's the time when you want to do the weave and bring the color that's underneath to the top. And it helps to just kind of keep things stationary in the place where you're working, and just keep pushing down as you go through so that you can guarantee that everything kind of stays in one place. And we'll just keep going until we get to the end here. Now this is going to create the same kind of cool little springy effect, but you're going to have it a little more shorter, of course, because you're dealing with 4 pieces of paper as opposed to 2. So I've gotten to the end. I can't really do any more here. I've got a short end here, of course. So in this case, I like to, you could just glue here and trim your edges and be done. Or I like to kind of put a little bit underneath of the piece, the color that's on top. So in this case, the red's on top. So I'm just going to cut so I don't have a full square part of it, and I can just tuck a little of this underneath then to create sort of a nice finished edge. I'll do the same thing on the other side with the red. And then I'm going to also trim down my yellow right against the edge here as much as I can. And then of course you probably want to put just a tad bit of glue on the red pieces so that they stay secured. If you wind up putting a little extra strain or tugging on this as it's a springy piece. But that should give you a nice little completed square piece. Now this is a similar kind of process in the sense that it's still a cool sort of accordion effect to things. You can stretch it out a little bit and allow a little air in it. Try to create sort of a springy piece. It doesn't really pop open so huge on its own. You know, you're getting something that's got a little bit of, you know, spring to it, but not maybe, you know, it's not going to stay long like that. But in terms of length, this winds up being probably, you know, naturally about 5 or 6 centimeters, whereas, you know, you're looking at originally having 50. The length that I used was 50, and then now in terms of it's about 5 or 6 centimeters long, just when I'm looking at it here. So that's just something to consider for when you're working on something that obviously you're going to need. If you want to make something super long, you're going to need a lot of extra paper to work with to make this as long as you need it to be. But it can create a really cute little spring. It looks cute on desks. It's a fun thing to play with. It's a quick and fun toy for kids during summer vacation when you're bored. There's so many different fun ways you can use it. It's a great thing to do with streamers after a party. It does create something a lot fatter, but you can also fold streamers in half and use this effect too. So just a fun little way to weave paper together to create a cool little sort of spring. And it does look really neat when you look at it. You could, you know, possibly put it between 2 points and stretch it out by, you know, taping or gluing it on the sides so you can let everyone see the cool inside effects of this particular piece. But that is sort of the finished piece today for that. So I'll have some more fun things to share with you guys in the days to come. Thanks again always so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!